Hi, I'm Jim Bearden, and this is Lesson 7 in Leadership at the Points of Contact, a series of videos I have put together to help you enhance your effectiveness as an organizational leader. In this section of the program, we're looking at one of the key roles that leaders play, which is to consciously create what we're referring to as hero-friendly cultures. In the previous lessons, we have really built on this notion of behavior. And we began by saying that the real culture, as opposed to the professed culture, the real culture in any organization is nothing more than a composite of the behavior of the people working in that organization. If you want to know what the culture is, pay attention to the behavior of the people working there. We also said that culture is what gets noticed, honored, and confronted by whom? By you, by people in leadership positions. So leadership behavior is especially important. Over the last few lessons, we've looked at specific steps that leaders take, behavior for leaders to create a hero-friendly culture. The first step, ensure that others understand what you expect. The second step, eliminate the barriers that might preclude people from engaging in those behaviors. The third step, the third thing that leaders do is to model that behavior. Show people what the behavior you expect looks like. And in this lesson, we're going to look at the fourth step, which is measure their performance using your expectations as the standard. Inspect what you expect might be another way of saying it. Now, as I see it, there are two key reasons why measuring their performance is extremely important. First, and maybe primarily, by observing their performance in real-world situations, you get opportunities to provide them with timely and appropriate feedback. And some examples of that are what I refer to as the 4 C's. You have an opportunity to celebrate. When you see someone doing something that is an indication of a good faith effort to meet your expectations, whether the quality of the performance is good or not, if they're making an effort, celebrate. And certainly if the performance, as the performance begins to improve, use every opportunity you have to celebrate their commitment, their willingness to make a good faith effort to meet your expectations. Number 2, the second C, observing their performance gives you an opportunity to console. And I mean that literally. When your employees are committed to meeting your expectations, there will be some grieving on their part when they fall short of the mark. Do you understand that, right? That this grieving is an indication of their commitment. The role that you play is to honor that grieving. And by doing so, you can dramatically shorten the grieving and help them quickly make a transition from grieving to growing or getting on to the next step. The third C is coach. First-hand observation gives you an opportunity to provide suggestions, recommendations, tips, anything that might help them either sustain their effort and or improve the quality of their performance. And the fourth C is confront. And we're going to talk about that in great detail in one of the upcoming lessons. So, first-hand observation, measuring people's performance gives you an opportunity to provide appropriate, timely feedback. The other reason it's so important for you to measure their performance is because of the message it sends to them and to other members of your staff. Even if you've completed the first 3 steps, telling them what you expect, eliminating barriers, and modeling that behavior, there's a chance that some people will still see meeting your expectations as discretionary. You understand what I mean? They'll hold back a little bit. When you start measuring their performance using your expectations as the standard, what message do you send to them? I wasn't kidding. I expect you to make a good faith effort to meet the behavioral expectations I've spelled out for you, for which I have eliminated barriers, and now I have taken the time to model for you. Here's kind of a takeaway from this lesson. What gets measured gets done. Does that make sense? What gets measured gets done. The corollary would be equally true. What doesn't get measured probably won't get done. Now let's look at the action items for this lesson. and they're important ones. There are three of them. First, I want you to review the situations in which employee behavior is especially important to your organization's success and the behavior you expect from your employees in those situations. And these would be action items that you had in previous lessons. 2, I want you to pick one of those situations, and I want you to schedule a time to observe employees' performance, to measure their behavior using the behavior you expect as the standard. And then finally, number 3, based on your observations, I want you to provide your employees with appropriate feedback, celebrate, console, or coach. Hold off on the confrontation. We'll cover that in an upcoming lesson. Remember, completing the action items is the key to getting maximum value from this program. So really, I encourage you to do so.